All right, so today we're talking about the Ring car cam. I've had this now for 30 days and I wanted to give you my overall thoughts and opinions. I've talked a little bit about this on Twitter and Facebook, how much I've really enjoyed having this in my vehicle. Now, while this is not going to prevent somebody from breaking into your vehicle, it is nice to have that peace of mind that you would know who broke into your vehicle if it should happen. Obviously, the best deterrent for theft is to not leave any personal belongings behind, but as a photographer, drone pilot, and professional, sometimes you can't bring all of your gear with you. And that's why we're talking about this in today's video. Let's get started. What's good, everybody? Ken here, you're watching OriginaldoBo, and this is the Ring car cam. It came out at CES 2023, and it was shipping in February of 2023. I went ahead and did the pre-order, so I was able to snag this for like $229. It does have an LTE subscription packaged in with this, because if I didn't make mention of this already, this is a connected, always connected dash camera, meaning that it uses LTE connectivity so you can have access to the interior of your cabin or the exterior of your vehicle from anywhere in the world. Now, this sports a 2-camera setup, meaning that you have an interior dash camera and you have an exterior camera. Both cameras are ultra-wide-angle cameras with high dynamic range. If I had to compare the quality of the cameras to anything, I would say it's pretty much on par with the Tesla Model 3 or Model Y as far as the color science and camera goes. Now, the interior camera sports an IR sensor as well, so at night you get that night vision sort of view, which I like because previous connected dash cameras that I had would sort of push 2 lights out and it would almost blind you in order to see what was happening in the camera or the cabin of the vehicle, which I really didn't like. But with this, you have an always on IR camera that transitions when it gets dark in the vehicle, which I like. So that is a cool thing. And then the front of the vehicle does not have an IR camera, does not have any night vision. It relies on the headlights of the vehicle to do all of the recording. So yeah, that's the camera. One more thing I want to make mention of is that on the interior cabin, it does have a privacy shield. So if you flip that privacy shield up, it will stop recording and kill off the audio that's being recorded to the camera as well. So for anybody who's concerned about privacy, it does have a shield. It doesn't record audio if that privacy shield is enabled. It is smart enough to know that that shield is up. So let's talk about the overall experience so far, having used this for 30 days. So for the past 30 days, I have to say it's been pretty impressive for a first generation product. First off, the install process of this is stupid simple. It is incredibly easy to install. This affixes to the windshield with a piece of double-sided 3M adhesive. It's firm, it's secure. I like it better than a suction cup. I always found that suction cups would fall off of my dash because it gets so hot in the interior of the Jeep, but this doesn't have that problem. It also powers directly off the OBD2 port. So at the bottom of the Ring camera, there's a USB-C port, connects to the USB-C, and then that routes down to your OBD2 port on the left-hand side of your vehicle. Most vehicles have an OBD2 port on the left-hand side, and that's where it's going to plug into. You can also set your power settings to be aggressive or not as aggressive, to where when your vehicle is off, it will continuously record. Obviously, it's not recommended for older vehicles to have a really long span of time that this remains on, as it could run the risk of depleting your battery. But for me, with the newer vehicle and having 2 different batteries in the Jeep, I have mine set to the maximum time allotted, because when I travel or go to the airport, I want to be able to see what's happening with the vehicle as long as I possibly can. The maximum time allotted is 72 hours, which is essentially 3 days that this will continuously record before it powers itself off. All right, so let's talk about the overall design. I think the overall design of this looks pretty clean. It's a very minimalistic design. It has this little piece here that actually connects and has a heat dissipation section here where it can actually vent off some of the heat from the camera. It also is where some of the electronics for the powering of this is stored. So pretty nice, clean design. Like I said, I think it's very minimal, not obtrusive, unlike some of the designs that I have seen. The camera itself is very well made, and I'd have no doubt that it's going to be able to do well in direct sunlight for a long period of time. Over the past 30 days, just looking over it, I don't notice that it's fading. I don't notice any of the fascias peeling. I know with my Owl camera, after about a month or so of direct sunlight, it started like fading and peeling, and I don't know, it just started deforming on itself, and I just started having a lot of problems. The lenses of the camera are really super wide, and it captures everything from the interior of the cabin to just on the outside. So if somebody walks up to your vehicle and starts jiggling your door handle, this camera is wide enough to be able to pick that up. Now, don't think that this is going to be like mirrorless camera quality, because it's not. It's just enough to capture a face, see what's going on the interior. The quality of the camera could definitely be better. I think the dynamic range is a little bit weird, but like I said, it reminds me a lot of a Tesla cameras, the Tesla security cameras, in the way that it handles the color and the range. The front of the camera, I think it works great. I think it's plenty wide to capture everything that's happening. And it's also pretty sensitive. You can tune the motion sensitivity directly from the Ring app, which is cool. Just like you do on your Ring home cameras, you can set how far or how sensitive or how frequent that this camera alerts you to anything around you, which I think is cool. Now, I have mine set to the medium settings because where my office is, it is pretty busy. And the only time I want to be notified is if somebody bumps the vehicle or is physically trying to access the Jeep. That is the only time I want to have any notifications. So I have mine to infrequent, and I have the motion sensitivity set to medium. And that's just enough, like if somebody walks up to the vehicle and grabs the door handle, it's going to trigger this to notify me that there is motion. Now, this does connect through the same Ring app that your home connects to, so you want to be mindful of who has access to your Ring camera. So for instance, I share my Ring app with my wife and daughter, and I have it to where my Ring camera for the Jeep is not shared with them. So even though that they're logging into the app, they can't actually see my Ring camera. And this is a question that is prompt. When you initially set up your Ring camera, it will ask you if you want to share this camera with anybody else on your Ring plan. So just make sure you say no if you don't want anybody else to have access to that camera. Definitely a good thing, especially if you have people in your vehicle that shouldn't be in your vehicle. Just saying, guys. But overall, I will say that the experience has been pretty consistent. It is connected with LTE. I'm not really 100% sure of the service provider. If I had to guess, I would say it's probably AT&T. But the LTE connection, at least where I'm at, works about similar to how my cell phone works. So where I have signal with my cell service is where I have signal with my Ring camera. And I have Verizon, so it works, like I said, pretty similar, and it's pretty much the same as far as AT&T goes as well. It's fast connection, enough to be able to get you logged into the camera relatively quickly, but it's not something you're going to want to continuously use. Again, you're on a limited data plan with these, so be mindful of that. I also have mine set up to where it will automatically connect to my home Wi-Fi. So when I'm parked in my driveway, it'll immediately detect my home Wi-Fi and connect to that. So it will also connect a little bit faster when I need to access that footage. Same goes for my office. When I park at my office, it immediately switches over to my office Wi-Fi for faster connections and a little bit more reliable service. And then I'm not using that data plan as often. Now, like I said, it does rely on a data plan, and you can't seem to purchase that data plan directly from the app. They want you to communicate and contact Ring support in order to set up your plan. And this is where I think that's a bit of a fail. I think you should have clear-cut, just easy to understand pricing right from the application that you can choose to upgrade or downgrade directly from the app. I have a lot of Ring services and a lot of Ring cameras, and I just want to have one nice, easy bundle to accommodate all of my cameras. Again, that's just a minor gripe, but I wish that was a little bit more simplistic, and maybe that's something that Ring will fix later on down the road. But as of right now, that doesn't function like that. But if you are already in the Ring ecosystem, this should be very familiar as just the way the camera operates, functions, works, from the footage that it downloads to the cloud. It's exactly like a Ring camera. And that's exactly what I wanted out of a dash camera. I wanted to seamlessly integrate this into my existing security camera ecosystem, and this definitely foots the bill. All right, I'll be sure to include a link down below. Like I said, this was something that I purchased back when I first saw it at CES. I thought it was the perfect solution to add in some sort of peace of mind to my work truck. And again, it's not a clear fit solution to prevent theft. It's just a bit of a deterrent, and then it's also peace of mind if you had to make an insurance claim that people would be able to be found if they did steal your stuff, or at least you can put a face to the crime. Anyways, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. This was something a little bit different, but I've been asked a lot about this camera and what I thought. And so far, 30 days in, I think this thing is absolutely awesome. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Stay original.